Hi, my name's Benji and welcome to Dice vs Cards. Today we're looking at Cartographers, a role-player tale, and we ask the question, can a flip and write game feel big and expansive? And by extension, how high can the strategic ceiling be for this resurgent genre? And finally, and most importantly, we ask the question, do you have to be good at drawing to succeed in life? So let's see how this plays and whether this could be the next game for you. Setup for the game is fairly straightforward. You each need your player pad, obviously a pencil to write with, and then you've got A, B, C and D, and these represent bonus objectives you're going to be randomly assigning to each letter. So players can continually draw the top card of this deck, and then you're all at the same time going to be drawing a shape on your player pad. So here it gives you, the Great River gives you two options. One shape here that also gives you a coin, and we'll touch on coins in a moment, or this shape that you can place on your pad. So there are mountain spaces here as well that can't be drawn on, but the rest of the pad is fair game. So once you've decided, here we're going to place the lakes, which is denoted here, on these three spaces in a straight line as denoted here. We're also going to mark off the first empty coin. You're going to then carry on drawing cards, and sometimes you'll come across these ruins, and all the ruins do is dictate that the next shape you draw has to cover up one of these ruin spaces. So we'll draw the next card, and here thankfully it's just a rift land. So basically this is a wild card if you like, because you can draw any one of the 5 main terrain types, including the monster type, which we'll touch on any one space on the pad. So here we're going to place a village on this ruin space. So because there's always one ambush card added to the deck each round, invariably you're going to be drawing one of those. So here the gnolls have raided, and this tells you that you're going to pass your player pad to the player in the direction specified. So here in an anti-clockwise manner. And they're going to draw the monster terrain types in the shape specified. So monsters aren't normally very good because anytime you've got an empty space adjacent, and adjacency is always orthogonally in this game, i.e. up, left, right and down. Whenever you've got an empty space next to a monster, you'll get -1 point for every empty space. So you're going to keep drawing cards until the time threshold is met on the current season. So there's a time value on the top left hand corner of most cards, and as soon as you meet, in this example, the time threshold of 8, you're going to end the round once that shape has been drawn. So at the end of each round you're going to score up, and as I've already said, depending on what season it is, depends on what objectives are going to be scored. So here the tree tower is going to give us 1 point for each forest terrain that we've added on the edge of our map. So here I get 5 points. Then the shoreside expanse is going to give us 3 points for every cluster of water that's not adjacent to a farm space. And a cluster is simply a grouped up set of the same terrain type. Similarly, it will also give us 3 points for every farm cluster that's not adjacent to a water cluster. So here we've managed to muster 9 points for that. Then we get a number of points equal to the coins that we've gained throughout the game so far. And then finally, minus points, as I've already explained, for any spaces that are adjacent to monster spaces. Sadly here we've got -8 points from this gnoll raid we had earlier in the round, giving me a total score at the end of the round of 8 points. You're going to rinse and repeat that process, changing the season each time, scoring different objectives. So we go through summer, fall and then winter. Remember, each round you're going to add one more ambush card to the deck. You're going to add your score up each round and then have a total score at the end. And then, as you'd expect, the player with the most points is the winner. So that's how this game plays. What did I think of it? So what's so good about the game? Well, it presents so many possibilities each playthrough. You've almost got a bit of a sandbox here. You know, even within the confines of what is quite often a narrow set of parameters in roll and rights and flipper and rights, you feel a sense of adventure that awaits you. What can you do in this game? There is a platform for real replayability here. Secondly, it genuinely brings a sense of story and a sense of world to this genre, which is extremely surprising and difficult to pull off. You feel like I've said, you've got your little world, your little sandbox to do with what you desire, and that theme comes across also in the cards that you interact with. Thirdly, this is a very short game that gives you a big sense of achievement when you're done. You've laid out your game plan, you've tried to maximise your points. Each and every round feels impactful, you've been trying to meet the objectives. It just gives you a definite real sense of achievement for that small box game. So what's not so good about the game? Well, sadly, this isn't going to appeal to everyone. Whether it's or not it's the theme or the fact that it's quite jarring for the roll and write or flip and write genre to have a game that feels bigger than it is. That or the number of disparate parts that come together ultimately to bring a top game to the table might actually act in as a hindrance to the popularity of the game. Let's just hope the critical kudos transcends that and brings it the success it deserves. Finally, not sure this was the right choice of name for the game. You want to appeal to people, you want to shift a lot of units. There aren't many Johnny or Janes out there saying, "Mummy, when I grow up I want to be a cartographer." Sorry, not sure that was the right choice. But again, it shouldn't matter. This is a brilliant game. So in summation, this is a game that definitely feels bigger than its small box would suggest. There are only so many components, but it just gives that sense of grandeur considering its size. And this also shows the possibilities of how the flip and write and roll and write genre can evolve. I honestly think in the near future, this game might be considered the godfather of that evolution of the genre. And finally, I can't draw even a stick man to save my life, but it doesn't stop me one jot from having a whale of time playing this game. So for that reason, Dice vs Cards are going to give a final score of 8 out of 10. I really do recommend you take the plunge on this wonderful game. So that's it from me. I'll see you next time.
Look, so here's the deal. I will give you the gift of cake if you do not place that monster in that corner. Oh, you absolute